My name's Alan Hart, and in today's video we're going to install an unvented cylinder. We're going to install a Viessmann 100 system boiler, and we're also going to install a secondary return for the hot water. This is on multiple zones. There'll also be wiring on this video as well. There'll be lots and lots and lots in this video. I did do day in the life of a plumber, and I added all the different sections in, like day 1, day 2, etc. But a lot of people have said that it's too complicated and it's hard for them to keep up, because I've done lots and lots of different videos now, and they just can't find them. So what I've done is, in this video I've put them all together nicely in one video for you. So I hope that this is more, I hope this is better for you. If you do have any questions, please add a comment below, and as always, I would really appreciate it if you could smash that like button and subscribe. When it comes to the end of the first section, please don't click off. It will go on to section 2, and again, once you've finished section 2, it'll go on to section 3. So if you want to watch part of it now and then catch up later, then you can watch it in parts as well. My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm doing day in the life of a plumber. I've got quite a big job. I'm going to be here all week this week, but I'm taking out an old cylinder, and also I'm taking out a boiler. The boiler's actually not that old, but all this wall here is all getting knocked down. So we're going to move it to the garage. So I'll show you garage, we'll have a quick look, and then I'll show you around. And then over the next few days, I'll try and put some videos together of installing the boiler, installing the cylinder, etc. So yeah, let's go and have a look now. I'm going to move the boiler, we're going to install a new boiler, and we're going to put it out here in garage, which is a little bit tricky because there's a concrete floor in between the house and the garage. So I've started to do a little hole there through. Let me just show you, just there. So there's quite a lot to get out there. And what we've got a Viessmann, fitting a Viessmann boiler on this job. So this is a 35 kilowatt Viessmann system boiler, and this is going to be piped as a 4-pipe system, and it's going to be installed with a Viessmann cylinder, and that's all going to go there. We're going to put it onto, there's going to be 2 nests on this, and it's going to have hot water, secondary return for hot water. That's all going to go there. I'll just show you inside. So what we've got this concrete floor in between. So that's the existing house. And then when we look in here, all this kitchen and that's coming out. So this floor here, we're going to lift this floor up here, and then this is where the existing cylinder is. This is it's on an S plan at the moment. It's been put on a seal system in the past. It's got a Spirotech filter on there, and as I say, it's on an S plan. It's actually an S plan plus, because it's got your zone valve there for your cylinder, for your hot water cylinder, and then it's got 2 zone valves in here, and one is for upstairs in the house and one is for downstairs. So we're going to put these zone valves, we're going to install some new zone valves, and they'll be in the garage. I'll just show you boiler as well. So the boiler that's in at the moment is actually a Baxi boiler, which these boilers are great, to be honest, but this building here is coming down, and the customer wanted a Viessmann boiler with the 4-pipe, so this will be coming out. So as you can see, this boiler is fitted by a large national company. Won't mention their name. So yeah, so that's about it really. So as I say, just need to sort this floor out in here, and then we've got this Viessmann cylinder that's going there. One thing on these Viessmann cylinders, they've got a little thing on them that tells you if they've been tipped over, so you can tell that has been tipped over, but when you look on the one that's on, you can see that it's not been tipped over, so that's fine. They want them to be kept upright on these cylinders. So yeah, so that's it. So I'll put some more videos together and you can have a look. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments below. As I say, this is going to be a new boiler, new cylinder. It's going to be piped up as a 4-pipe system, so that I'll have hot water priority. It'll have a secondary return for the cylinder for the hot water, and it'll be on 2 heating zones, and they will be wired up onto Nest thermostats. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please ask them in comments below. Thanks for watching. My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm doing day in the life of a plumber. This is video 2 on so this is part 2 on the Viessmann 100 system boiler installation, and this is with the Viessmann 200 hot water cylinder, and we're piping this up on a 4-pipe system. I've started to put some plywood on the wall here, and I'll show you, following on from yesterday's video, I'll show you I've put some pipes through, but I'll show you that now. I managed to dig the concrete out yesterday. That's part of rubble there. And I've put some 6-inch soil pipes in, some underground drainage pipes, and then I've cemented them all back in. So that now gives us a nice sleeve through under the concrete floor, and now I've got some pipes that I'm going to put through there. So this pipe that we're using, it's MLCP pipe, and this has come from Beneath Heat, this pipe, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to put the boiler up on the wall here now. I'm just going to put a bit more ply on there. I'll do that now. One of the questions that's been asked was about the damp proof. So the damp proof course is just here. So I'm above the damp proof course on that. I've just put the other piece of ply on there, and I've connected the bracket on for the boiler. So I'm just going to lift that. I'm going to lift the boiler on now. Boiler's on the wall now. I'm just sitting there, I've just got my laser level on there. That's my Hilti laser level. Just making sure that it's all nice and level. I'm just drawing a little line on there, just so that when you start putting pipes on, you don't knock the boiler out. Obviously this needs to look nice and level once you've finished. Just going to start doing some of the pipe work now. I'm using press fit on the copper, and I'm using press fit on the MLCP as well, so that's a multi-layer pipe. So as most people will know, with press fit, obviously check your O-rings, check they're in, pipe in, and then you have a machine that just crimps that on. Just reset that. Just make sure your fitting's on. I try and do as many of these just off if I can, and you can just check. You can just check that it's not come out at all. The benefits of this, in my opinion, there's no flux and solder going into your pipe work. It's much cleaner and it's quicker. All in all, I think it's better. I mean, it's much more expensive, but just saves so much time, and you don't get any leaks either. I was asked what 4-pipe means. With a normal boiler you have a flow and you have a return. With a 4-pipe system you have 2 flows if you like, and you have 2 returns, and one of the flow and returns pipes directly to the hot water cylinder, and inside the boiler it has a diverter valve, a bit like a combi boiler really, I suppose, and that gives the heat to the hot water, and it gives it as a hot water priority, and you can control that on the display on the boiler, but I'll go into that a little bit more later. So that's it for today really. I just thought I'd just give you a little bit of an update. I will do try and do like a daily blog if I can, just depending on time, and then I'll just give you an update of how I'm getting on with this. Thanks for watching. My name is Alan Hart, and today I'm doing day in the life of a plumber. This is video 3, I believe, and it's the Viessmann Vittedens 100 boiler installation, and also this is a system boiler, and we're also connecting a Viessmann Vitacell 200 hot water cylinder to this. I've done various things so far. So I've put the pipe through a concrete floor to the other side of the house because we've moved the boiler out here. So if you wanted to look at part 1 and part 2, yeah, you can have a look at them. Today I'm getting the pipe working. I've got a deaerator on here. So this is a Spirotech deaerator, and this just helps get the air out of the system, the micro bubbles. Just to help the system so it doesn't corrode. And also we've got a filter, and that's a Fernox filter, and that's the Fernox Omega filter, and that's a brass filter. So yeah, let's have a look at the pipe work that we're doing today. I'm here by myself, and I'm not rushing on this, just take my time. But we've got an S plan, so this is for an upstairs and a downstairs circuit. And then the boiler will feed the cylinder with a cylinder sensor, and it'll be piped as a 4-pipe. So if you look under there, it's got an extra flow there, and it's got an extra return, and they connect directly to the hot water cylinder. And then it has a hot water cylinder sensor, and then the boiler will control the hot water. They're the zones there. I'm just going to put some pipes through now into the house. We've got some MLCP pipe here, which I'll just show you. Just show you one of these fittings. When you push this on, you make sure you can see it with these little holes there. I don't know if you can see, but these fittings, brass fittings, so they're really good quality. And this pipe is multi-layer, and it's got like an aluminium. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's got aluminium, so it doesn't allow any air ingress. So it's not like your normal plastic or your normal like push fit that you would use. These can also be used on secondary returns for your hot water. So we'll have a look at that now. This MLCP pipe is Blansol pipe, and it's distributed in UK by Beneath Heat. This pipe it's RAS approved, and it comes in 16mm, 20mm, 25 and 32. And with this I've got the press gun. What I would advise you to do is go on the Beneath Heat website, and then when you're on that website you can have a look at the different profiles and different jaws. With this I've got jaws there, look, which is, I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's TH, and this is 32 because this is a 32mm fitting. This is a 32mm socket. So all we need to do with this is you get the end of the pipe, clean the pipe up. These, if you have a look on that website, the step by step, it shows you how to do it. But you've got your fitting, you just push your fitting on, make sure it's on, and if you have a look on there, I don't know if you can see, but you can see the hole there. We can see the pipe, it's gone all the way in. Obviously on that one you can see it hasn't gone in yet because there's no pipe. And then we get a press gun on there, make sure it's all in. And that's it, you heard it click. And then when you look at your fitting, it's all crimped on. It's not going to go nowhere, that. And as I say, you've got your aluminium part of the pipe, and then you've got the brass there, and it's got a double O-ring in there as well, so there's zero air ingress, so it's much better than using normal push fit, speed fit, poly pipe, whatever. Just so you can understand how this works, normally you wouldn't do this, but if you take the cap off, just to have a look inside, what you've got there, you've got double O-ring, and then obviously this bit, this is the same, so this is a socket. And then when you get your pipe, you've got your pipe, so your pipe's pushing over top of there. I'm not going to push that on because it's a bit awkward to get back off, but you can see what's happening. You've got two O-rings on there, and then also you're crimping the pipe onto it. So you've put your pipe all the way in, and then them little holes there, I don't know if you can see that very well. So you've pushed your pipe in there, and you can see it's all the way in. If you have a look on the inside there, you can see it's all the way in on the inside. So if it wasn't all the way in, like there, you can see and you can tell. So it's a really, really, really good system. And these fittings, these brass fittings, are real quality as well. And that's the MLCP pipe, multi-layer Blandsol pipe, and that's all pressed on now, and it's also pressed on the copper as well. And you get, or you can buy a coupling with straight tails in, so you can convert it back, to copper. I'll just do the rest of this now. Got a bit more of the pipe work in now, putting an external expansion vessel on this as well, because the system's quite a big system, and also the system's going to be extended later on, so you can never have too much expansion, so it's always good to put a remote one on if it needs one. At the moment we've got 2 zones on here, but in the future the customer might adapt this and they might put some other zones on, so I've put another T in there just to make it easier. I'm just going to put a stop end on, and then if we have to, if the customer decides to extend this later, which I think they are gonna, then we can just put a new zone valve on there, and then we'll just wire it in onto wiring, and Just got waste pipe in there now as well. So it's coming on a little bit. So that's day in the life of a plumber. That's day 3, and that's the Viessmann boiler installation. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer any of the questions. In the next video, I'll be doing the cylinder. So I'll be piping up the cylinder. Obviously we'll unbox that, and we'll pipe the cylinder up onto the 4-pipe system. Thank you for watching. My name is Alan Hart, and today I'm doing day 4 in Day in the Life of a Plumber. We're doing a Viessmann 100 boiler installation with a Viessmann Vitacell 200 hot water cylinder. So we'll have a look at that shortly. We're going to unbox this cylinder in a few minutes. First of all, we'll just give you an update on what I've done so far. So let's have a look now. So far I've put the boiler on, I've done the flue. I did start to do the flue with a core drill, so the outside is nice and neat with a core drill there, but it had metal in the wall, brick tie, so I had to chop it out with a chisel. So I need to cement that up on the inside. It's got its clips on, so we need supports, maximum 1 metre really, or change of or joint or change of direction. So we've got us clips on there, we've got the boiler on the wall, we've got us deaerator on there to help get the air out of the system, we've got a Fernox filter, that's actually a 28mm filter, that one. Then we've got us S-plan on there, and now I'm just going to unbox this. We'll unbox this cylinder, and we'll start to fit that. I'll just open this cylinder up now and just show you what you get. So you get the instructions, and I would tell you, or I'd say to you, advise you, always read the instructions. And then we'll get the cylinder, we'll get a little takeaway bag there, we'll have a look at that in a minute, and then you get your expansion vessel, and this all comes with the cylinder. And then when we have a look inside here, we just have a look in this bag. Just show you what you get. You get the sensor, hot water sensor in with it. I've just got all the fittings. Ton dish. So you get a nice little kit with it to enable you to install it. I'm just going to pipe the hot water cylinder up now. This is the flow to the coil, and because this is a 4-pipe Viessmann 4-pipe boiler, then this flow coming down from the boiler off the 4-pipe goes directly into the cylinder. I'm using this MLCP again. I've used copper coming down, and then where we need to bend it and stuff, I've used this stuff because it's really good. You can bend it. It don't bend easy. It does feel like copper, but because it's got an aluminium layer in there, if you bend it over something, you can bend it and it'll keep its shape. It's really good. So I've just put a bend on there, and I'm going to connect this into there now. So I'm going to cut this copper down, cut this down a little bit, and then I've got the coupling that transfers it from MLCP pipe or the PEX pipe, and and then I'm going to press this elbow on. So that'll go in there, and that'll just press onto there. So I'll cut this back now, and then I'll just clean this edge. You get a tool, and that just cleans, or it like does a cuts a little bit of it out, so you can get fitting on. I'll show you now. And again, just make sure it's fully in on there. And this pipe is 25mm, so the jaws on this TH 25. Could do with some new cutters, I think. A new bladed cutter. I've had these quite a while. Just put a little mark on there, just so I know that it's in when it's on. Do the same on there as well. And because I've marked them, I know that they're fully in on both of them. The cylinder sensor just goes into this pocket here, and then on the other side of the wire you get a plug, and if you can see on there it's got a number 5 on it. When we open the boiler up, you can see over here there's some wires and they've got a number 5 on. So you wouldn't really be able to wire that bit of it wrong. So that's for the hot water side of it, so I'm just going to shove that in through there, and then that'll be the hot water part of it sorted. It's starting to come on now. Still got quite a bit to do. So that's the end of day 4. Yeah, we're coming on. It's coming on well. Tomorrow, finish off the cylinder tomorrow, and then I'll show you. We'll have a little look around it, and I'll show you all the pipe work on it. And then I'm going to do the wiring as well for the Nest thermostats on the S plan. So I'll do that, and I'll show you how to do the wiring as well. Yeah, I hope you found that of some use, and thanks for watching. My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm doing day in the life of a plumber. We're on day 5 today, and this is the Viessmann 100 system boiler that we're installing, and then we've got a Viessmann 200 hot water cylinder. The Viessmann boiler is piped up on a 4-pipe system, so it's got an independent flow and return to the cylinder, if you like, but I'll go over that shortly. Today's video, I'm going to do the wiring, so I'll show you how to do the wiring. So let's have a look at that now. We've got an S-plan system here, and this is an S-plan for 2 zones, and they're 2 heating zones. The central heating hot water cylinder is going to be controlled by the boiler once we've wired the boiler in, and that has an independent zone valve or diverter valve inside, a little bit like a combi boiler, and then that controls the temperature of the hot water, and it has a hot water sensor there. So that's a hot water cylinder sensor, and that comes with the kit with the Viessmann cylinder when you buy the boiler and the cylinder. We've also got 2 Nest thermostats that we're wiring in onto this system, and they connect and they work via them zone valves there. So what I'll do now is I'll show you how to do this wiring. This video is for demonstration purposes only, and I do advise you to go on an electrical training course. Baxi do a very good training course for wiring. I went on that quite a few years ago now, but that's a really good course for showing you how to wire S plans, Y plans, etc. So yeah, let's have a look now. If we look at all the wires in here, I've labelled them all just to make it easy. Obviously, when we've got all these wires into here, if none of these were labelled, then you might struggle to see or know which is which. I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm not saying that this is, you know, what electricians do or all like that. So first of all, we've got a spur there, so that's just as live as neutral and as earth. And then there's certain wires on here that we know that are all going to join together. So I start with them ones. So we know that all these blues, we know that they're all neutrals, and we know that all the green and yellow ones are all earths. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to join all them ones together, and then it'll cut down on wires that we need to work out. On zone valve, we've got certain wires on here that we need to work out, but I'll go through them as well shortly. So I'm just going to get my cutters now, and I'll get some wear goes. So I use these wear goes. I think they're really good. So what I'll do is I'll clip some of these together in here. Yeah, let's do that. The blue is neutral and the green is earth, and that's the same on this other Nest here. So we know we can just wire them in as permanent live neutral earth into here, and with our spur we know that they connect, so that's live neutral and earth, so that's as main electrical feed coming in. And then A zone valves are a little bit different, but we know on a zone valve we know that again it's got a neutral, so we'll wire the neutrals in, so it'll be a common neutral for all of them, and same with the earth. And then on the zone valves, the brown is not the same, so it's not just a permanent live as such, but we'll go through that in a minute. I've labelled these, so that's nest 1 and nest 2. First of all, I'm going to start with my earths. Cut my earths down. I know that some of you have like crimping tools. I just do this. Just connect that together. I don't want to waste too many of these. So that's the nest, earth done for the nest. Now we'll connect the 2 zone valves. And then I've got my boiler, so that's your live, your neutral and earth to your boiler, so I'll connect that in. Into that. And then we've got as main earth from a spur, so we'll connect that in. And then as boiler link there, we don't really need to do that, but I'm going to connect that earth in as well. So that's all the earths done. So that's one set of wires that you've got out of wear there now. And then now we'll do the neutrals. And then we've got his neutral from a spur, and his neutrals from a nest as well. We'll do the nest first actually. and then there's neutral from a spur. We've got as neutrals from the zone valves. So all these wires that I've done so far are they're just all joined together. So all your earths joined together and all your neutrals joined together. I've no power to this yet, so this spur's not wired in yet, so that I know that I'm safe. The last thing I'd be wanting would be an electric shock. Right, okay, so there is main wires that all go together, so we can make it easier. And then what we need to know then is on us nests, we know that the brown and the other brown for both the nests, we know that they're permanent lives, so they can wire to the same block as the permanent live from the spur. And then we've got as boiler live there, that's a permanent live as well. So now we know that all them wires connect together, so we'll start connecting them now. And then that's as main live from the spur. So as I say, make sure you go on the training course for wiring. So boiler link, that's not, so the brown for that, we're not wiring that in. And also in that neutral there, I've done that wrong, look. So there's link, that's from the boiler. So it's a good job I'd labelled this so that I didn't do it wrong. But before I do, I want to check and test it out anyway. Right, okay. So now we've got, I always just go back with ones that I know for sure, and then I work my way back. So I know oranges, just from experience, that is what feeds the boiler to turn the boiler on, as in the switch or the link that would be back at the boiler. So what we can do with that, we'll wire that to one of these, rather the blue or the brown. So both of these, they'll end up being live really. So these oranges can both be joined together. So these oranges are from your zone valves. So zone valve 1 and zone valve 2. Right, so we know that they both wire together. When we get to as greys and as brown, I'll go through that. I'll show you what I'll do is I'll get the wiring diagram out for the nest just to show you where they go now. When we look at the instructions for the zone valve, we can just see on there the grey from the hot water zone valve or the heating zone valve. The grey goes back to number 1 if you were going to do it in a wiring centre, and number 1 is the permanent live. There, look. So we know that the grey is permanent live. So both these two greys from this zone valve here, we're going to put into the permanent live, which means the live that when you switch the fuel spur on, these will be made live. So that's this block here with all those browns in. So now we're cutting down on what wires we've got. So now we don't have to work out what the whites. So I know from experience that the whites on a 28mm zone valve, we just isolate them, we make them electrical safe. So all I'm going to do there, I'll just cut them back and just put some little small Wagos on them. Right, so now we've got the boiler link, we've got them wires to sort out, so we need to know what they're going to do. So we know one side of this is going to, that's going to go and connect into the orange wires in here. So now we know that all we've got left now what's that one? So that says boiler, live, neutral and earth. We've still got this brown wire, so we need to connect that in to a permanent live. So I can go into the block there that we've got with all those lives in. So now we've got the black and the greys left here. Now these black and greys, these go to the nest thermostats. So that goes to nest 2, that goes to nest 1. One not left here goes to nest 1. And if we look up at his nests, we haven't wired them in yet. So we'll do them shortly. When we look at the diagram, this is the instructions for the nest thermostat. We can see terminal 2 is live. Now you could put a link from there to terminal 2, but we're not going to do that because we can just do it in here. So what I'll do is I'll connect the grey into terminal 2 on both of these, and then in here we'll make the greys as permanent lives. So I've wired my greys in. I've also wired the lives and the neutrals and the earths into here. You only really need to do the earth if you're going to do T1 and T2. We're not going to do that, but might as well wire it in anyway. It's easy enough to do. And then same with that one. So now we've just got this black wire here, black wire here. And we've got this 2 black wires here. And when we look on here, that wants to go to number 3. So I'm going to wire them in to number 3 on there. So they're all wired in on there now. And then when we go here, if we look at all those wires now, so we've slowly got rid of wires that we know they're easy to do. My lives, I didn't have enough in one block, so I've actually put another block in now. So they're all my permanent lives now in there. So we've ended up now with 2 black wires left. And if we see there, nest 2, so this one here, and then we look on these here, and we've got two brown ones left. So if we look at which ones we want zone 2 there. So we'll connect to the zone 2 and the brown wire from that, and we'll connect that now to the nest 2. So they're wired in now. So we've connected zone 1 there to the black wire, which goes to nest 1. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a temporary feed in here with a plug, just so that I can just check it's all working. But before I do that, I'll just show you in here. I've still got this wire, and that we need to wire this into the boiler, into the switch back into the boiler, and that's this link. That's the boiler switch link there, and it's the brown wire that we're gonna wire in. You could use the blue wire as well, and you could put that as the switched live, so you could do the live back from the boiler. But just to make it easy for this, I'm going to do it this way, just so that it just makes it easier for you to understand, really. So when we take the cover off the boiler, always remember you need to be gas safe registered to work on gas boilers. When you take the cover off, you'll see a link there. Now this is the link, so normally you've got 240 out and 240 back in via that link, so this would make the boiler run. So now we're going to take this link out, and then this wire here from us to orange, this brown, that brown there, we're going to wire from here. We're going to put a brown into one side of this link. One thing to point out with this is that I haven't disconnected the current boiler in the house yet, so this has all been piped in and wired in, so that when I do change it over, then it's just quick and easy to do just inside. But what I've done here is we've got as L1 as number 1 there, and that's the wire back, and I can test all this now with multimeter. I can get the nests up and running as well. So I've got the nest, the number 1 here goes back, and that's the one here that's connecting to the orange. I've temporarily connected this in, so I've disconnected the spur, because the spur's not live yet. I've not broke into the existing system yet, so I've temporarily wired this up onto a plug here, which I'm going to take back off after I've done this demonstration. But I can set the stats up now. I can set the nest thermostats up, and it should all work. So I've got my multimeter there, so I can check all my wires and test all my wires, make sure that I've done it all correctly. I've just turned the thermostat up on the nest, and what I'll do now, you might not be able to see this, but I can just test with multimeter. Yeah, so we know that that's working. When we look at the boiler, it's got an F4 fault code. Probably can't see that. That's because I've not packed gas in yet, but I just wanted to get the wiring done. It's gone on a bit longer than I expected, this video, so what I'll do is in the next video we'll finish off the hot water cylinder, and then I'm going to take the system out then, so the existing hot water cylinder in the house, we'll take that out and we'll change it over. So even though we've got this working now, so we've got it so, well, it don't work because there's no gas to it and it's not piped in on the other side in the house. but once it's piped in, this will work. So yeah, so hope you found that useful. Please add some comments below and I'll try my best to add them into the next video if I can. Thanks for watching. My name's Alan Hart and today I'm doing day in the life of a plumber. I'm still on the Viessmann 100 installation. I'm going to take out the old cylinder. I'm going to drain this system down. I'll show you the old system, we'll drain it down, and then I'm going to connect it in to the new boiler that we've installed. Yeah, so let's get on with it. I'm going to turn the water off shortly, but this is the header tank here, and that feeds, that's the cold water goes into the bottom of the hot water cylinder, and then we've got two feeds there, so that would indicate that there's some that's tank fed, like a bath or maybe a shower, but we'll have a look at that as well. So we'll go turn water off now. Just going to do the stop tap outside on this house, just because it's plastic, so it's much easier just to turn off. So I'll just turn that off now, and then we'll drain the tank down, just to give you an idea of what's happening here now. That pipe at the back, this pipe, that's your cold feed, and that goes into the bottom of the cylinder, and that comes from the tank upstairs. And then once the water's hot in here, it comes out of the top as hot water. So now what we're going to do is I've turned the stop tap off. We're just going to drain the hot water cylinder down. I'll drain the tank down first, and then to drain the cylinder down, we've got a drain off there. So we'll use that as well with a hose. So we've turned the cold water off now into the property, and now we've got the tap open, and that's hot water, and that's coming out of the cylinder. But what we're doing now, the tank from upstairs, the water's coming down here. It's going into the bottom of this cylinder, and then at the moment it's coming out of the top here. Now once we've done that, we still need to drain all the volume of water out of the cylinder. So I've put the hose pipe on here, and I've actually cracked that open a little bit because sometimes they stick. But as we've got more pressure at the moment because of the head of water, I've just opened it a little tiny bit, and then that hose pipe goes to outside. So then that cylinder will be empty. This side is the heating coil, and often what you'd find is these pipes here, it's piped like it with gravity, and they would be cold feed and expansion. But on this system, it's been converted to a sealed system. So we need to drain the heating down. See there, it's got a pressure gauge on. So we need to drain the heating down before we can take the cylinder out. We've got the boiler in here. It's got a pressure gauge here, and it's got a PRV there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open that. You wouldn't normally do this in normal use because that might start to leak afterwards, but it just makes it easier for us to drain it down now. So the cold feed into the cylinder, I've cut that off there. I've been draining the cylinder down from the drain off there at the bottom, and just to make it a bit quicker, I've just cut this pipe and I'm just tucking it into this tub here. Now I need to do that side there. So that's the flow and return for the coil. And then I need to disconnect that top there. So that's the hot water outlet. And then we'll be able to remove and lift the cylinder out. And then we'll be able to get to our plan. So there's all S plan under here, or S plan plus. so we can get to all that, and then I can connect it into the new system that I've connected out into the garage. And I've put some pipes into here for that already, so I'll sort that out shortly. I've disconnected pipe on the top for the hot water. I've disconnected feed into it. I've also disconnected, I've cut the pipes off on this side, so I can lift this cylinder out now. Remove the shelf now. Hot cylinder's gone. So we know this is hot water. So that's his hot water pipe going down to feed downstairs. And then that should be the expansion. I need to just search some of these. Depends how they've piped it in. And again, these here, these should be dead, but it could be that a radiator is connected off there. So I'm not going to cut these out until I know the alt system works perfect. But I'll cut all this back now. And then we've got access here. So that's a zone valve for heating for downstairs. So that's easy enough to work out. That was a zone valve there. I've just took head off, and that goes up there, and that goes upstairs. So that's for upstairs circuit. And this zone valve here, that will for hot water cylinder. So it's all straightforward in here. Pumps there. See pumps there. Pumps actually on return. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, so we'll cut all this out now. Just come upstairs to drain the tank now. Take the tank out. If we have a look at that, that should be a compression fitting, and somebody's actually soldered it. Connected all this up with speed fit in here, and I wanted to test it before I start piping it all in copper, but I didn't connect these two pipes that came off top of the cylinder, because I thought that they could have been the old open vent and feed, but the radiators in the bathroom didn't work. So now I've connected these in. I've just teed them in here, just temporary for now. We'll just make sure they work now. All this plan is on the return back to the boiler, which would indicate it's quite an old system. And the filter is on the floor. And then I've temporarily just connected all this in just to get it, just to test it and see what's working. The upstairs rads in the bathroom, they now work, because I've piped them pipes back in there temporary. I've installed the ton dish on here now, so now we're going to test it. See there, it's actually splashing over a little bit, so as you can see, there's all water coming out there. Water on that, and then we'll test it on the top one. You see that it really is splashing over now, and that's the hot water now that's coming out of there. So that's on a standard ton dish. I'm going to try a hot and high flow on this and see if it makes any difference. I hope you found that video of some use. If you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments below, and thanks for watching. Danny's a bit upset now because he thinks he's fluffed it on his video. So please give him some love, give him some likes, won't you? Are you happy, Danny, or what?
No.
Are you going to say sorry to everybody who watches this video? My name's Alan Hart and we're just installing or finishing off a hot water cylinder today. It's an unvented hot water cylinder. A lot of people's been asking about hot water, unvented hot water cylinders. So I thought we'd just go through that. Got Danny here with his book, just checking that it's all okay. And Danny's going to go through it and he's going to tell us all the distances that it should be. So bearing in mind Danny is an apprentice, so he's new to this. So please bear with him. So Danny, do you want to tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, so we've got D1 discharge.
So first of all, we've got an unvented cylinder. Yeah?
With a system boiler.
With a system boiler, yeah. And then what's that white thing up there?
That's the expansion vessel.
Expansion vessel for hot water side cylinder, yeah. And then we've got here, got an expansion vessel there for heating.
Yeah.
The boiler itself's also got an expansion vessel inside, but we've put an additional expansion vessel in, and it's on. How many zones have we got?
We've got 3 zones.
And what are them zones?
We've got
heating zones. They're all heating zones, aren't they?
Yeah.
And then how does the hot water get hot on this one?
It's heated in the cylinder.
And how does it work with the boiler? So it's on hot water priority, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
So that means it takes priority over the heating.
Yeah, so inside the boiler, it's got a diverter valve inside this Viessmann boiler, and it will automatically go down these pipes, and these just connect to the cylinder, these two. So that does a flow and return into the cylinder. Right, okay, so what else do you want to tell us about this?
We've fitted a pump on there.
So we've put a pump, so this is on the hot water for the secondary return, which we just need to lag in a minute.
And then we've got us discharge pipes.
Yep, so that what's this here? What's this called?
That's your temperature relief.
Temperature relief valve, yeah. And what's that pipe from that?
You've got your D1, which needs to be maximum 600 ml from the discharge, from the temperature relief valve.
Yeah.
To the top of the ton dish.
Yeah, so we've got a hot ton dish there. We just need to finish that off as well.
And then we've got us D2.
Yeah, so which bit is this D2?
From the bottom of the ton dish.
And how long does that need to be?
It needs to be minimum 300 straight pipe.
Yeah, which is what we've got there. If you're going to install unvented cylinders, you need to have your BPEC qualification for it. So if you're a new recruit or that, you need to go on your BPEC, and then you can register the boilers then, or register the hot water cylinders. I've just been on my update course recently, and I went on the BAXI training course. So that I can highly recommend that if anybody wants to go and do that. BAXI do a training course for that. So yeah, let's have a few more minutes looking at this cylinder and this system. If you've got any questions about this, please ask them below, and I'll try my best to answer as many questions as I can. How does the hot water work then, Danny, with this?
So it goes through a coil in the boiler.
Through a coil in the cylinder?
In the cylinder, sorry.
Yeah.
Which heats heats the water in the cylinder, but them two never mix. So this is the heating that's in the coil, and then.
So what you've got your flow that comes out of your boiler. It goes round to the cylinder, to the hot water cylinder. Goes round the coil in the cylinder on a pipe, so it doesn't mix with the water inside the cylinder, and then it goes back on the return into the boiler. So the water inside the cylinder that you have a bath in does not mix with this water. I've done a video on how a hot water cylinder works, so what I'll do is I'll add that link below, and it's like a cutout of a cylinder, and that'll show you how the cylinder works. Now what I'll do is I'll just go through the different components, and I'll just tell you which the different components are as well. So just a recap now, that's the expansion vessel, and that's for the hot water, for the expansion. As water gets hot, water expands. So we have that expansion vessel on, just to take up the expansion. That connects into the cold side in here, after the non-return valve and stuff, so that just actually connects in there on this one. The valve here on the top of the cylinder, this is the temperature and pressure relief valve. On top of the cylinder, this is the hot water outlet, and that goes to the hot tap. And on this particular cylinder, we've also got a hot water return, so that's on a secondary return, and we've got a pump on here, so that does a loop on the hot water circuit, and that makes it so that when they open a tap in the house, it just means that when they open the tap in the house, the hot water comes to the tap quicker. Obviously, if you've got a boiler and a cylinder that's in a remote location, and then you open a tap, it's going to take a long time for the water to come to the hot tap. So we've put this pump on, and we've put a loop in. So we've put a loop in the hot water. So if you imagine the hot water to be on like a loop, and one side of it comes out of the top of the cylinder, goes all the way around the circuit, and then it comes back to the cylinder, and then that loop has a pump on it. And then if anybody opens a hot tap, then it's really short, and the water will come out hot almost instantly. Really, it works really well. Most cylinders, you would have your temperature sensor in here, and we have, but we don't have the thermostat on here because it's controlled via the boiler on this one. So we have a setting in here, and this is how we would control the temperature of the cylinder with the Viessmann. It's flashing on there. That's just a light behind. We've also got a multi-functional valve on here. It has your strainer in here, and it also has your pressure relief valve and your non-return valve in there as well, and your pressure reducing valve as well. And as Danny said, we've got as D1, and then down there we've got as D2, and we've got as ton dish. We're using a Hotton on this, which is spring loaded, and it stops the smells coming back in. Just got to finish that off. We're running this system on 3 heating zones. So this is the downstairs zone, the upstairs zone, or the middle floor, and then this one is for the office. And all of them zones work off a Nest thermostat. We've got 3 Nest thermostats that control this system. And then the hot water, as we've said before, this is a hot water priority, and it's a 4-pipe. So it's a Viessmann system boiler, and it works off a 4-pipe. And these 2 pipes here, that's the flow and that's the return, and they go directly to the cylinder. And then you have a cylinder sensor, which is this wire here, and that connects directly into this boiler. On this Viessmann boiler, to control the hot water temperature, we'll just go into mode, scroll down, click the tap symbol, and then we can control the temperature in there, set it to whatever we like, and then we just click OK twice, and it'll go back onto there, and it'll do hot water priority. So it'll do the hot water first. So this is the finished job. The flue goes out, the flue is fully supported, The boiler's there. That's a Viessmann 100 expansion vessel, hot water cylinder. And then over here we've got the wiring centre, quite a lot of wires in that for all different zones. We've got zone valves, we've got the deaerator there as well. We've got a filter, Fernox filter, and I'm nearly tripping over on this pipework here. I just better be careful. So that's the full install. So it's a Viessmann 100 installation with a Viessmann unvented hot water cylinder. It's on a 4-pipe priority hot water, and then we've got 3 zones, 3 central heating zones that all work off Nest thermostats, and then we've also got a secondary return for the hot water on this job. I hope that was of some use. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions, please ask them in comments below, and thanks for watching.